out there, and welcome. It is Monday, July 14, 2025, and I'll be reviewing Monday Night Raw. And welcome to It's Wrestling Time post show. All right, so Roman Reigns returned tonight to close out Monday Night Raw, and he returned after the Gauntlet match. So the Gauntlet match was to determine who was going to face Gunther at SummerSlam. It featured Penta, Cero Miedo, uh, LA Knight, yeah, and Jey Uso, and of course CM Punk. So CM Punk is victorious, and we'll talk about the match right now. So he's victorious, and then he stares at Gunther, and Gunther just kind of like taunts him, and he gets attacked by Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Jay comes in to help CM Punk, and then Roman Reigns comes back and reunites with a Jey Uso. See, so as he's seen here, he reunites with Jay. So I have to say, like, I'm not surprised that they brought Roman Reigns back. I think with Seth's unfortunate injury, they probably needed someone to kind of fill that void. Now I'm kind of see where this is gonna go. Maybe Roman and Jay team up against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, perhaps. Maybe we'll get that at SummerSlam, which would make sense because Braun Breaker did turn and aligned himself with Paul Heyman. All right, but this Gauntlet match was really, like, if you notice, Penta, LA Knight, and Jey Uso all have issues with Braun Breaker, and he ran through all three of them until he got to CM Punk, and CM Punk was victorious here. So it's no surprise. I mean, Paul Heyman even hinted that Braun Breaker was going to run the Gauntlet. He mentioned it twice tonight. So yeah, and I kind of wonder why LA Knight, was in this one. Isn't he a SmackDown superstar? Like, why was he in this? But it makes sense, I guess, in a way, because he has issues with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. So it is what it is. But that Gauntlet match closed out Raw. All right, so tonight's Raw kick actually opened up with Naomi, and I like the fact that she actually made a reference to the fact that people thought she was going to cash in on Tiffany. I myself thought she was going to cash in on Tiffany. The crowd was chanting, "You deserve it," but Naomi shot them down because she's like, "Where were you guys when you guys couldn't feel the glow and stuff like that?" She gets interrupted by both Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, who each want a title rematch. And Adam Pearce basically makes it a triple threat at SummerSlam. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley versus Naomi. I have to say, I'm really glad, and I said this during my Evolution review, I'm really glad that they had Naomi cash in on them because we all thought that she was going to cash in on Tiffany. So this is going to be a good match. I'm definitely looking forward to Naomi versus Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky. I have liked Naomi's heel work. And since she came back to WWE, this is the best work she's done since she came back. But this was a good opening segment, Naomi definitely had I'm sure deep down she was happy the crowd was chanting "You deserve it," but she had to shut those down. But this was good. I really like this opening segment. We get a Judgment Day segment. And the whole point of this is that Finn Balor convinces Dominic to be at ringside for Raquel and Roxanne's match against the Kabuki Warriors. Now, Finn Balor has been trying to instigate stuff. He's been trying to get Dom to spend time on Roxanne. He's obviously still mad at Dom for stealing the IC title from him at WrestleMania. So this leads into Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus the Kabuki Warriors. Now, I did like the one spot where both Karrion and Asuka did a submission move on Roxanne and Raquel. And as usual, Dom gets involved in this match. He gets cheap shotted by Asuka, and Raquel helps Roxanne pin Asuka, so they are victorious here. And again, it's just mentioned what Liv Morgan is thinking. Is she watching? Yeah, she's probably upset that her best friend Raquel is, accepting Roxanne, and not to mention Dom being out there. Yeah, she's probably not happy watching this. We get a Paul Heyman interview, and it's in this interview where he mentions that Braun Breaker is going to run the Gauntlet and become #1 contender. And he addresses what everybody's talking about what's going to happen to Money in the Bank briefcase. And he says that Seth Rollins has until June of next year to cash in. So I guess this means that they're not doing anything with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and they're pretty much just going to leave it just with Seth Rollins. He does have a year, so I guess if he's not back within a year, they'll probably readdress the situation. So you get a Lyra Raquel interview, and she's basically annoyed that she's being asked about Bayley, and she's gonna put that to rest tonight. Bayley interrupts her and tells her whoever loses tonight, she's gonna go back to the back of the line. So, I still think that the WrestleMania match should have been Lyra and Bayley versus Judgment Day, but they use it to turn Becky heel. This leads into 2 out of 3 falls match, Lyra Kira versus Bayley, with the winner facing Becky at SummerSlam for the IC title. So I have to say, I thought this was a pretty decent match. I think that both ladies knocked it out of the park. Bayley obviously got the first fall, Lyra got the second, and Lyra was victorious after she hit the 9-wing to Bayley, and then Becky came out and confronted Lyra. So I feel like Lyra has to take the belt from Becky, otherwise this feud needs to end. We had a Stephanie Vaquer interview segment, and she's talking about how she's very happy and that she was made for the event, where she says this in Spanish, and obviously she vows to be champion. She was interrupted by Chelsea Green and the Secret Harvest. Chelsea Green calls Stephanie Vaquer La Primavera, which is Spanish for spring, but Chelsea says it's probably Spanish for loser, and she says green means winner in Canadian. Chelsea Green is so hilarious. And Stephanie Vaquer tells Chelsea Green to take her best shot. And like Chelsea is doing some of her best work. And this leads into her versus Nikki Bella. Now, I did question why Chelsea Green and the Secret Service are on Raw when they're SmackDown. Seems like a lot of things are just being ignored before the draft. Chelsea Green versus Nikki Bella was an okay match. Nikki Bella won, and the Secret Harvest attacked Nikki, and Stephanie Vaquer comes to help her. So I wonder if this is gonna set up maybe some type of tag match, maybe Stephanie Vaquer and Nikki Bella versus Chelsea Green and the Secret Harvest. You know what? Especially since Liv Morgan was out with an injury, we don't know where Nikki Bella is gonna go from there. We'll see what this leads to. So we get a Karrion Kross vignette, and he's talking about Sami, calling him a liar, saying that he's not hurt, and that he is in hiding, and it urges him not to come back to work. So feud between Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn is not over. You guys remember Karrion Kross did hit Sami Zayn in the ribs with that crowbar, or that pipe. So it's definitely not over. We get an Adam Pearce segment. Freaking New Day, they're all dressed in black and saying they are grieving the death of the tag team division. Now, what is the Raw tag team division? Because you have the New Day, you have A-Town Down Under, you have Judgment Day, and you have the War Raiders. Oh, and Alpha Academy. Let's see. Oh, okay. And then American Made. I forgot. So that's 6 teams. And yet the titles are still on Judgment Day. I still think American Made should have an opportunity to tag titles. And where are the War Raiders? I haven't seen them since they lost the titles. So I guess you can say the New Day are in the right to grieve the tag team division, the death of the tag team division. Adam Pearce. Oh my god! They had Grayson Waller have this platter, serve him to Adam Pearce, and it was 2 wigs. I'm just what? New Day has been seen talking to Grayson Waller over the last couple weeks, but we don't know what happened to Austin Theory. They kept teasing a split of A-Town Down Under, and I don't know if they finally pulled the trigger. It doesn't seem like it because we never got it on screen, but they either pull the trigger or they keep A-Town Down Under together. So basically the whole point of this is that Adam Pearce tells the New Day they're going to determine new challengers for the tag titles next week, and the New Day will be a part of the challengers. And it's so funny because he bumps into Dominic, And he basically tells Dominic he's going to be reevaluated next week. If not, he's going to need a doctor's note. And if he's cleared, he's going to make a match between AJ Styles and Dominic at SummerSlam for the IC title. And it's so funny because you could see AJ Styles is like praying. He's just like, because he's been asking for a match against Dom for that IC title. And he's been watching Dom for like the last couple of weeks. And then it was hilarious. Like AJ Styles in this whole feud has been hilarious. Like he put on a pair of glasses to read Dom's doctor note. It was funny. So next we get a Rusev interview. And he gets interrupted by Sheamus. And basically Sheamus lets him know they're going to have a rematch because, they talked to Adam Pearce about getting a rematch. And their match was great. So I definitely wouldn't mind getting a rematch between them. So last but not least, we get a promo by Gunther. And he mentions that he retired Bill Goldberg on Saturday. Of course, on Saturday night's main event. And he mocks Goldberg by saying, "Who's next?" which is something that Goldberg used to always ask. And he's interrupted by Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman now. Gunther doesn't want to. He doesn't even let Paul Heyman finish what he was going to say. You guys know Paul Heyman does his usual shtick. So Gunther is basically like, that he knows his name. He's not interested in what he has to say. Before he gets the chance to leave, he gets like Braun Breaker gets in his face. And basically, again, Paul Heyman says that Braun Breaker is going to run the gauntlet and is going to be the number one contender for the world title. And he calls him the next big thing. And even calls him a Steiner, which, if we know anything, he's the nephew of Scott Steiner. And he is the son of Rick Steiner. So I'm not sure why they didn't call him Braun. Like, I guess, they wanted something that he can copyright. But that's the first time that I think that he's mentioned that he is a Steiner. And then this is when the gauntlet starts. So I'm going to stop there because they talked about the gauntlet at the beginning. But with that being said, on a scale from 1 to Sean Spears' perfect 10, this Raw, was not good. It was okay. We could obviously tell they were trying to capitalize on the success of Evolution, and they had a lot of women's segments and women's matches, which is good, But it's just when you compare that to Evolution was much better. But this was okay. This was probably a 5. That Gauntlet match, it was pretty obvious Braun Breaker's gonna go through Penta, J, and LA Knight. Yeah. So with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching. If the continued support, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you can know whenever I go live or release a new video. And I hope to see you guys Friday after SmackDown. Bye.